Smashbits is a channel that is synonymous with the If Undertale Was Realistic series, being inarguably one of their most successful series of videos. I've never really seen anyone shit on this series, and for good reason. The series is witty, comedic, and incredibly well made. There really isn't anything you can say about this series unless you're a Christian mother who hears little Timmy's iPad blowing cuss words every 5 minutes. But if that's gonna be your gripe with the series, you're just a fucking snowflake. Unfortunately, wherever there is light and perfection, there is a shadow of problematic writing and the worst comedy to ever disgrace your ears. Ladies and gentle cars, are you sitting down? What if I were to tell you that the Smashbits channel has a second series about Undertale? But wait, that's not all. This series is called If Undertale Had a Flirting Route. And believe me, when I tell you, it sucks massive balls. A shocker, I know. From the same people who made such good videos like If Hello Neighbor Was Realistic. Okay, hang on, I remember that one being pretty alright, but you know what isn't? Slow, boring dialogue and having sex with frogs. Okay, admittedly I'm stalling having to talk about this because trust me, having to even recap this shit show is horrendous. But without further ado, here is Smashbits vs. Undertale, the good and the bad ending. Starting out on a sour note immediately, the art style of this series absolutely sucks. If looking at the thumbnail didn't tip you off to turn back and watch something that's less controversial, like James Charles, then you deserve what's coming to you. And as if having to disgrace your precious eyeballs with this art wasn't enough, the voice actor of Frisk is absolutely unbearable to listen to. It sounds like if Deku from My Hero Academia had a congested nose and snorted helium. It actually pisses me off having to listen to it. Anyway, after Frisk gets up, we come to the disappointing realization that Flowey has lost his cowpoke accent. He sounds like a child who's trying to sound like an adult over the phone, and it honestly sucks. They talk for a while, and eventually we get a line from Frisk that mentions how they are not a small child, and are actually 19 years old. They also, unprompted, might I add, state that they are a grower, not a shower. Flowey does what I only wish I could, and rips Frisk's heart out, which unfortunately does not shut them up. Flowey gives useless information of Shakespearean lengths while Frisk screams their ass out. Fast forwarding, the glob Toriel saves Frisk from Flowey, to which Frisk promptly screams at Toriel, asking to milk her. There's a bunch of signs that tell you to push the rocks onto the fucking buttons, blah blah blah. While I have the next few episodes playing in the background, I just want to mention that every interaction in this series is so fucking slow. And as if that wasn't enough, the dialogue is so uninteresting and unfunny that I think getting a colonoscopy would be more enjoyable than listening to these characters talk to each other. By the way, on the topic of dialogue, you know how in the Realistic series, Frisk's main joke of sorts was that they were a genderless child? Well, in the Flirting Route series, in case you didn't figure it out already, Frisk's main joke is that they are 19 and a grower, not a shower. I could make better comedy if I tried, honestly. I mean, all the comedy in this series is Frisk sleeping with almost every character, menstrual cycle, and children, which doesn't seem to really fit in, but... Anyway, look, we finally reached episode 2. It only took 15 minutes? Are you shitting me? That felt like an hour! These episodes are so bad that it feels like time is going backwards. That's how bad they fucked this up. Anyway, Frisk meets Sans, whose voice has been severely nerfed, might I add. Gone are the days of loud British Sans. For now, we have calm and boring-ass Sans voice. They make a joke about Sans not being able to pronounce Papyrus's name, which 1, isn't funny, because 2, doesn't make sense, furthermore, overstays its welcome despite only going on for like 10 seconds. After this, Papyrus comes in looking worse than Sans does somehow. They talk, talk some more, Sans makes a joke about Kentucky, Frisk meets a racist snowman, blah blah blah, and it's only been 22 goddamn minutes. I want to rip my fucking eyes out, this sucks! This series is literally the polar opposite of the realistic series. The animation was funny and added to the humor, the voices were outlandish, loud, and unique. The comedy and dialogue was super fast and, quite honestly, just perfect. And this all compounded to each episode seeming like it was over as quick as it started, whereas the Flirting Route series is so bad that I feel like I've been watching the first 2 episodes over the course of a year. Anyway, Frisk fists a deer, hits on Papyrus, Ugly Monster Kid, Sexy Horsefish, Undyne gets killed by the Ugly Monster Kid. Wait, you say what now? Hey look, episode 4! Tammy looks like an eldritch horror, yay! Frisk shits on Pittsburgh for no reason at all, which pisses me off since I grew up there. Undyne gives a lore dump about human souls, Tammy wants to fuck a glove, boat guy, and oh hey, it's my favorite character in this whole godforsaken series, Alphys! Much like everything else in this series, Alphys is a polar opposite from the realistic series. Her voice, for one, isn't unbearable to listen to, and she honestly doesn't look that bad, compared to every other character we've seen, at least. Anyway, we meet Mettaton, who unfortunately does not have the Yas Queen voice, and it's honestly quite the glam down. By the way, I've started fast-forwarding my notes because this is actually where I started putting the videos at 2 times speed, which, surprisingly, made the episodes ever so slightly more bearable. If you, for some unknown reason, watch this series, I recommend putting it at 2 times speed. Anyway, Alphys wants to fuck Frisk, Mettaton makes a cake, gay bra couple, which I ship, lesbian jokes, lesbian deaths, date with Sans is in love with Toriel, a self-insert, I think? Mettaton becomes infinitely less hot because they are no longer a box, although Frisk seems to enjoy their new form more. Backstory time! Chara and Asgore look alright, but Jesus Christ! Azrael looks like if a pair of ass cheeks and Christian had a weird Mpreg baby with a bit of furry thrown in for good measure. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, the Simpsons kill Azrael and... oh, that's the end of the episode. Weird place to end it, but sure, I guess. Episode 9, Frisk confronts Nas, which is the whole joke, if you were wondering. By the way, little ovulating velociraptor enthusiasts. Sex addiction jokes, boring-ass dialogue, I'm dead in this universe. Asgore, howdy, murder, flirting, hedgehog exposition. Asgore stabs himself while Frisk tries to stop him. Asgore talks about fisting and sex, but not before Asgore is stabbed by Flowey. Flowey gives exposition. In this universe, Flowey used to be a normal flower, but then was experimented on or something. A long, unfunny joke about soul math, Omega Flowey, Sans throws up. Episode 10 starts off with Frisk making out with their hand, kills Omega Flowey, refuses to kill family, but does anyway. Alphys goes on a date with Frisk, something about consent, fart jokes when Majora's Mask but it sucks, roleplay, Frisk and Alphys fuck, get caught by Undyne, and then Alphys and Undyne fuck. Episode 10, Ghost Exposition, Ugly Temmie has meth. Oh shit, it's Azrael Dreamer! Wait, is that? No. 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 Is he in here? For the uninformed, that is one of the main voice actors from the realistic series. That guy did a large portion of the voices, including Frisk. And not only that, but he was the writer of the realistic series, which is why it probably was pure gold. But what is he doing having such a minor role here? Why not have Dexter Manning as the main voice actor? Why not have him write it? So many questions and so little answers. Anyway, now for the final episode. Azrael talks about baby Hitler, which is honestly the funniest dialogue in this whole series, unsurprisingly. Azrael shoots Frisk with a laser gun to no avail, as Frisk is still alive. Frisk makes Azrael feel bad, big remembrance thing, blah blah blah, minivan joke, anime joke, knock knock joke, train puzzle, marriage counseling joke that overstays its welcome, Azrael equals Asgore and Toriel joke, Azrael and Frisk date, I think? Also, at the end, they make a joke to the realistic series, but in a way that's kind of passive-aggressive, which just... fuck you. The end. Now that we've sat through the worst thing man has ever made, now for the show that has been blessed by God himself, if Undertale was realistic. This video's already probably pretty long thanks to the slow dialogue of the Flirting Route series, so I'll make this quick since most people have probably seen this show already. As previously mentioned, Dexter Manning wrote the script for this series and voiced many of the characters, both of which amplified the humor of it greatly. The 3D animation is much more expressive and they really seem to play around with it more. The outlandish and unique voices done for some of the characters and the fast-paced dialogue are perfectly complemented by each other, and the way the characters talk when they move complements their personalities. Literally nothing about this series is bad. I, and many others, just love this series. I think that if the animator or animators of the Flirting Route series gave more of a shit with how characters look and played around with visual gags more, the series may have been better visually and comedically and might have been a bit more bearable. When it comes to things like this, the writing is just half the battle. You can have one of the best stories ever written, but it won't matter if it looks absolute dog shit. A good example is the If the Cuphead Was Realistic videos. The writing is pretty good, honestly, but the animation is so abhorrent I'd rather they replace the animation with a guy spreading his asshole instead of having to look at this. What I'm getting at here is that art matters. I'm honestly getting off track, like, a lot, but just bear with me. To wrap this video up in a nice little ribbon and bow, the direction of the Smashbits channel has wavered for quite a while. The recent video they uploaded of If Security Breach Was Realistic was an absolute masterpiece, as it was written and heavily voiced by Dexter Manning, a clear sign of genius. And the art is incredibly well done, whereas any video with shit art design and Dexter Manning being barely involved sucks absolute urethra. If Smashbits wants to stay moderately relevant and entertaining, they need to keep Dexter Manning involved in the writing and voices, because clearly the other people that they've hired to write or voice act suck absolute dong. I sincerely hope that Smashbits will recognize this and work to keep their channel and content as tip-top as can be, because if they keep making videos like the Realistic series, they'll stay relevant and people will, you know, actually enjoy their content. But with all this said and done, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!